the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt.
Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, and we have with us in the studio today Sheikh Saeed Al-Qadi, who is the Imam of Masjid Al-Mutara in London, right? Okay, well, thank you for being with us today. Jazakumullah khair. And I would like to welcome our studio audience as well. Assalamu alaikum. Today we will be discussing the issue of patience, inshallah. And without getting too much into it, I'd like to hand the mic over to Sheikh Saeed Al-Qadi for his reflections.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. All praise is due to Allah alone. We praise Him, thank Him, seek His guidance and His forgiveness. We repent to Him. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of our souls and our sinful deeds. Whoever Allah guides, none can mislead, and whoever Allah misleads, none can guide. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentioned the quality of patience, He mentioned it amongst the top and high qualities in Islam. Allah ta'ala in the Quran said, وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ. Whoever practices patience and clemency and forgiving, إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. Indeed, those two qualities are from the qualities that are recommended by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from the top and high qualities. And you might ask, what is the definition of patience? What is patience? Well, basically, patience is to restrain yourself from being fearful and worried at the time of difficulties, time of calamity, and to restrain yourself from falling in the prohibited actions, the haram actions, and to as well to be constant in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said that there are three types of patience. Three types of patience. He said the first type of patience is when you are patient in fulfilling Allah's obligation upon you. Patience in fulfilling Allah's obligation upon the person. Or patience in doing righteous actions, basically. And Allah Ta'ala in the Quran mentioned this type when He said, وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاصْطَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. And enjoin prayer on your family. And be patient in offering it, the prayer. And Allah Ta'ala subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Allah Ta'ala is the Lord of the heaven and the earth. فَعَبُدُهُ وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِهِ. So worship Him and be constant in worshiping Him. هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ سَمِيًّا. Do you know anyone who can resemble Him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None, of course, can resemble Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second type of patience is the patience in abstaining yourself from the haram actions and the evil actions and the prohibited actions, basically. And the example of this is the hadith that we have, Sahih al-Bukhari. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that 7 types of people will be under Allah's shade where there will not be any shade but His shade. And He mentioned amongst them the youth man who was seduced by a woman, a very beautiful woman, and he said to her, I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so he abstained himself from falling in the haram action and the haram deed. And a good example of this, as many ulama said, is Yusuf alayhi salam. When he said to the woman, I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After she said, I'm ready for you. Said to her, I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he abstained himself from falling in the haram action, and this is, we call it as well a type of patience. when you abstain yourself from the haram actions. The third type of patience is when you be patient and when you restrain yourself from being worried and fearful at the time of difficulties, at the time of hardship. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentioned this type when He said, وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, and give glad tidings for those who are patient. And then Allah Ta'ala now is describing their attributes. He said, الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ, those whomever, when they are afflicted with any calamity, they will say, قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Whenever they are afflicted with any calamities or any calamity or difficulty, they will say that we all belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we shall all return to Him. And those people who practice patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them a lot of reward. In the same verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned 3 rewards. Besides, we have many hadiths that talk about patience and its reward. But in this verse, same verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned 3 immediate rewards for them. The first one is Allah's mercy. Allah ta'ala will bestow His mercy upon them. Allah ta'ala will bestow His blessing upon them. And Allah ta'ala will guide them. أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ. Those who practice patience will have a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ, and they are the truly guided ones. So they will be, inshallah ta'ala, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided. Furthermore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who are patient. Allah ta'ala loves this quality, and He loves the people who are patient, who practice it. Allah ta'ala in the Quran said, وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن نَّبِيٍّ قَاتَلَ مَعَهُ رِبِّيُّونَ كَثِيرٌ. And how many prophets fought in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with him a large bands of righteous people, righteous men, fought with him. And then He said, Allah Ta'ala describing them, He said, and those righteous people, righteous men, they never weaken. They never lost heart. They never show weakness. And Allah Ta'ala at the end said, وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الصَّابِرِينَ وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن نَّبِيٍّ قَاتَلَ مَعَهُ رِبِّيُّونَ كَثِيرٌ فَمَا وَهَنُوا لِمَا أَصَابَهُم فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَمَا ضَعُفُوا وَمَا اسْتَكَانُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah Ta'ala indeed loves those who are patient. So Allah Ta'ala loves this quality. Furthermore, Allah Ta'ala will be with those who are patient. And when I say Allah Ta'ala will be with them, I mean Allah Ta'ala will give them support, direction, guidance, help, protection, and so on and so forth. Because Allah Ta'ala in the Quran said, وَاصْبِرُوا, and practice patience. إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Practice patience. Allah Ta'ala indeed is with those who are patient. With those who are patient. And let me conclude and say that as well, from the virtues of patience is that the person who is patient, Allah Ta'ala will give him a reward without measure. Without measure. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are patient, you will have your reward without measure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran said, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Indeed, those who are patient, Allah Ta'ala will give them the reward without any measure. Plentiful reward without measure. Subhanallah. What a great reward.
Subhanallah.
What a great, subhanallah ta'ala, bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's a very timely message, and I hope that I think a lot of Muslims need to digest that information and understand the benefits that come with patience, inshallah. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Let's Talk.
covering the manners in Islam that a Muslim is supposed to have in Islam.
There is a strong link between having good manners and piety. And then he said, I guarantee a dwelling in the highest rank of Jannah for the one who perfects his manner. That indeed, truthfulness leads to piety, to righteousness. And righteousness and piety leads to Jannah.
The Prophet ﷺ used to always maintain family ties.
Gentleness in Islam means to treat people with kindness and with tenderness.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome back to today's episode of Let's Talk. Today we're discussing the topic of patience, and we have with us in the studio Sheikh Saeed Al-Qadi. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And I think now in this segment we're going to take some questions from our... no, actually we're going to watch Vox Pops, that's right. I get confused on my own show sometimes. So today we're going to take a look at some questions that we asked some Muslims on the street and see what they had to say, inshallah.
And is it hard for you to be Muslim in your society or in this environment? I mean, it's about how difficult is it to be patient, because we live in a society where everything, we want it to be fast. So fast food, fast service. So sometimes we lose track of our ultimate goal. And what do you do when you're faced with difficulties, generally speaking?
Well, I mean, you get used to it. I mean, yeah, the life here is fast-paced, but you do get used to it, and you'll have to adapt. So I don't find it difficult to adapt to the environment. Maybe initially, when I first moved in, it was a bit difficult, but to be honest, you just have to adapt personally. It may vary from person to person, but you just get used to it.
Patience is a great virtue, and I think while I do agree that life is becoming quite fast, everything is there's no time to do everything. You feel that time is of essence these days. I think it's just good to listen to again what our Prophet ﷺ was saying. You have to keep patient. You have to try to do things which you think are right in your own time, and at the same time not to allow your just emotions or the environment around you to just drag you away without knowing it inside yourself and conscious. Yeah.
Bismillah. Well, that was very interesting. I think now we'll finally get to take it to our studio audience, inshallah, and see if they have any questions.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My question, sir, please, is along with the division of patience into types, some Muslim scholars, they I can say classified patience into degrees or grades. So if you can gently shed more light on this point, please.
May Allah bless you, Hussein. Very good question. One of the ulama said that patience has 3 degrees. Has 3 degrees. The first degree of patience is to be patient, which we call it sabr in Arabic. Whenever you are afflicted with any difficulty or calamity, to adhere to patience. We call it sabr. The second level of patience is, we call it istibar. Istibar is to be constant in your patience. To be constant in your patience. And the example of this in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala in the Quran said, رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ فَاعْبُدُهُ وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِ. Allah Ta'ala is the Lord of the heaven and the earth, so worship Him and be constant in your worship. And be patient and constant in your patience. This is the second type or second degree of patience. The third degree of patience, which we call it musabara. Musabara means to vie one another in being patient. To vie people who are patient in being patient. To compete in being patient. Okay? And to have patience without any complaint. which we call as well صبر الجميل. فاصبر صبرا جميلا. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran mentioned this third type of sabr. He said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا. Oh, who you believe, practice patience and vie one another in being patient. صابروا, اصبروا, صابروا. So these are the three types of, or three, degrees of patience.
Very good. Do we have another question?
Allah bless you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
My question is about, we had a situation in Switzerland 1 year ago, like we have several attacks about Muslim in the media, sometimes with people and with the state too, with the government. And it was two ways, or in the masjid, the people, they told us, okay, you have to be patient, you wait. We make dua, we be patient, inshallah, Allah give us better. And some people, they told us, no, we have to be patient and organize ourselves and to work and to make, like to go to the state and to tell themselves this is our right. So what is the place of patience in a bad situation?
Oh, good question. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah khair. First of all, anyone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يعني made it clear when He said that anyone who entered Islam, anyone who claimed to be Muslim, Allah Ta'ala will test him. Okay? It is from Allah's decree that Allah Ta'ala will tribulate us. We will be under Allah's tribulation. Okay? And the wisdom behind this is for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, or for us to know who is the true believer and who is the hypocrite. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran said, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Some people, they worship Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and they are full of doubt. فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. And once he faces any good things, he will be happy and content with it. And once he faces any difficulty or calamity, he will turn away. Okay? So we will have some tribulation our way. And the reason behind them, or the aims behind, or the aim behind them, is for us to show that we are true believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore we should be patient in such circumstances. However, if we have as well a chance to claim our rights and to organize ourselves, it's also recommended. It's also we should do that as well. Okay, so we be patient if someone was rude towards us, and also we should at the same time claim our right, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah be with all of us, inshallah ta'ala.
Ameen. Do we have any other questions? Go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Peace and blessing be upon you. My question is, does patient have any link with leadership?
Very good question, Umar. May Allah bless you, jazakallah khair. One of the qualities that a leader should have is patience. If you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you leadership in the deen, especially in the deen, is to be patient. If you want Allah ta'ala to give you leadership in the deen, you need to be patient. And that's why Allah ta'ala in the Quran said, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. And we made from the children of Bani Israel, we made from them leaders who will guide under our command. Why? Allah Ta'ala in the Quran in the same verse said, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا. When they were patient. وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. And they were certain about our deen, our revelation. So that the ulama said, with patience and certainty, you will have the leadership of the deen. بِالصَّبْرِ وَالْيَقِينِ تُنَالُ الْإِمَامَ فِي الدِّينِ. With patience and certainty, you will have the leadership of the deen. May Allah bless you, jazakallah khair.
Very good answer, Sheikh. We have another question.
Yes, sir, please.
Hussam?
Yes, please. My question is, what are the rewards that Allah the Almighty have prepared for those who practice patience? And also, if you could provide us with some examples of the situations in which the Prophet peace be upon him practiced patience.
May Allah bless you. Well, the second question is very very, inshallah ta'ala, wide and needs long probably time to answer. However, the reward of patience, as I mentioned before, blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and protection, support and help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the end you will have your reward without measure. Okay? Good. Go ahead, Omar.
No, go ahead.
Inshallah.
Did you have more to...
Well, I would just say that Allah Rasul was the best example in being patient. I will give you just one example that imagine your uncle, the one who was very close to you, or let's say Hamza radiallahu anhu, was very close to him sallallahu, and he helped him, supported him, stood by him, and fought in Badr, and he fought in Uhud, and he was one of the very brave companions. Rasul sallallahu in the Battle of Uhud, he saw him killed. Not only killed, but in a very horrible way. So Rasul sallallahu he stood before him, and he looked at his ankle, and he was killed. And he said, I will never be afflicted with anything in my life worse than this. Okay? And he was sallallahu patient. And then he wept sallallahu and the Sahaba said, we haven't seen Rasulullah weeping so much as the day of Hamza radiallahu anhu. Many occasions, and just imagine that all of his children died while he was alive, apart from Fatima radiallahu anha. Ibrahim, Kulthum, Ruqayya, Zainab, they all died while he was alive. So this is all calamities, and he was sallallahu patient. Subhanallah. And if you reflect upon his paragraph, you will find him is the best example of being patient.
Very good answer, Sheikh. I think we have a comment now from our audience.
I have a comment. Patience is a real good virtue. For that, if you possess it, the best of blessings will come to you, inshallah. Exactly. And I have a question also. I've read that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated the victory of attaining paradise and being saved from hellfire will be achieved only by those who are patient. Is that correct?
No. Very good. Very good question. Jazakallah. May Allah bless you. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran, when He spoke about rewarding people with paradise, He mentioned that one of their main attributes that they were patient in this life. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran said, إِنِّي جَزَيْتُهُمُ الْيَوْمَ بِمَا صَبَرُوا. Today I have rewarded them because of their patience. أَنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْفَائِزُونَ. And they are the winners. Okay, so Allah Ta'ala linked between their success in the hereafter and His reward in the hereafter, linked between it and their patience in this life. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah khair.
Thanks for clearing that. Sheikh, so I have something else to say.
Go ahead.
So basically, patience is a doorway to paradise.
Exactly.
So
it's a light for you. Rasulullah, when he defined patience, he said, "As-salatu nur, wa sadaqatu burhan, wa sabru diya." He said, prayer is a light for you in your life, a light to Jannah, and a light in your straight path. And he said as well, وَالصَّدَقَةُ بُرْهَانٌ. Charity is a proof of your faith, of your iman. If you believe in Allah in the hereafter, you give charity, because you'll have a reward in the hereafter. And then he said, وَالصَّبْرُ ضِيَاءٌ. And patience or endurance is a light in your life. So it's a light for you, of course. A light for you to Jannah, inshallah ta'ala. And a method to attain Jannah. May Allah bless you, sir. Go ahead, do you want to say something?
Yeah. So one last thing. So brothers out there, brothers and sisters, please be patient.
Very good. Yeah, I hope that they take that advice, inshallah. Do we have any more questions, or does that... Oh, I think we have one more if we want to pass him the microphone there.
Yes, my question is, since patience is one of the most high values in Islam, how can we achieve patience?
Oh, very good question. MashaAllah, Hussein. Jazakallah khair. Well, first of all, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, he gave us a very good example in how to practice patience. He said, مَا أُعْطِيَ أَحَدٌ عَطَاءً أَفْضَلَ مِنَ الصَّبْرِ. No one was given something which is more valuable than patience. If Allah Ta'ala gave you patience, then you are being given something which is very valuable. And then He said, وَمَنْ يَتَصَبَّرْ يُصَبِّرُهُ اللَّهِ. If you want to become a patient person, then you need to practice patience. Practice it and you will gain it. Whenever you face any calamity, whenever you encounter any difficulty, be patient. And practice patience. And remember the virtues of patience. And what the rewards of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who are patient. Practice it and you will gain it. Practice it. مَنْ يَتَصَبَّرْ يُصَبِّرْهُ اللَّهِ. Whoever practices patience, Allah Ta'ala will make him patient. So you can gain this quality by practicing.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
There's a specific incident in the prophetic sunnah. The woman who was weeping on the grave of her son, and when the Prophet passed by her, she said to him, leave me alone, and she was not aware that she was talking to the Prophet peace be upon him. Then when she tried to apologize at the end of the story, he said to Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, said to her, إنما الصبر عند الصدمة الأولى. Patience is to be practiced at the first moment. So if you can shed more light on this and illustrate the significance.
The benefit, may Allah bless you. The hadith is full of benefits. And it's very meaningful hadith. The woman, Rasulullah said to her, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be patient. She was crying, she was weeping over her son, the grave of her son. And she said to him, walk away from me. You don't know what happened to me. You are not afflicted with my calamity. So just go away from me. And they said to her, he is Rasulullah, this is Rasulullah. And she was shocked. And she went to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm sorry, I didn't know that Ya Rasulullah. I said to her, don't worry about this, but patience is at the first stroke. At first stroke. So you should be patient once you hear or once you have the calamity at the first moment. This is the time of being patient. Many people they can be patient afterwards. But the real patience is when you are patient at the first stroke.
Well, I think those were very good questions and very good answers, inshallah. We're going to take a quick break, though, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Let's Talk.
Love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, for those who want to enter the Jannah, the paradise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created for the believers. And that's why we need to learn and we need to get to know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us, so that we submit ourselves to the orders of Allah. And this is knowledge that we need to learn. Why we're spending more time to look into the verses and to the meanings of the verses in depth, so that we can get to learn from it what we need ourselves to be steadfast, to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ponder over the meanings of the miraculous words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome back to today's episode of Let's Talk. Today we're discussing the issue of patience, and we have a new guest in the studio with us. We have Brother Muhammad Al-Arabawi. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Hashim, right? Okay, good. And he's a lecturer at Al-Azhar University.
Yes.
So we're glad to have you with us today. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
And of course we have Sheikh Saeed Al-Qadi with us, and I hope I say everything right and don't forget any words or slur my speech, because I'm about to fall asleep. I don't know what's happening. It's a very important topic, but I guess because it's kind of, for us, it's late in the day, so maybe we need to bring some tea or something in here. I don't know what's happening. But now's the time where I get to ask the questions I want to ask, so I guess I'll get to have a little fun and wake everybody up a little bit, inshallah. One thing I'd like to ask is, and we'll start with you, and then we'll take it to you, inshallah, and see if you have any thoughts.
If possible.
Well, this is a question specifically geared towards you. So, is there a link between success and patience?
Yes, there is a link. There is a strong link between success and being patient. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, in Surah Al-Imran, the last verse, He said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا. Oh, you believe. Be patient, practice patience, and vie and compete one another in being patient. And then he said, and fight at the places where the enemies can attack you from. رابطوا. And then he said, واتقوا الله, and fear Allah. And then he said, لعلكم تفلحون, so that you may gain success. So those qualities or these qualities will bring to you success. لعل in the Quran means for, or it is a for affirmation.
For success.
Yeah, for success, to gain success. Good. So you'll get success if you practice sabr.
Okay, so what type of success comes from patience? What kind of success do we get?
All types of success, actually. Success here in this world and our worldly affairs, and success in the hereafter as well. All types of success, all kinds of success need patience. Without patience, you gain nothing in this world and in the hereafter.
And there's no point really in being upset, is there?
No,
I mean,
no.
because either you can do something about it, so you can do it, or you can't do something about it, so why are you upset? I mean, you can't do anything anyway. There's no point in getting worried
or feeling resentments. And everything is written by Allah's decree. Everything is going by Allah's decree, and we should always remember this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very wise in His decree. And we should submit to Allah's decree. We do our best in achieving our aims and goals. However, if anything happens to us, calamity or difficulty or hardship, should be patient.
Is it correct to say, if you worship Allah and do your best, you'll be fine? You'll be okay? I mean, is it okay to say that?
It's okay. It's definitely okay. What's wrong with that?
I'm just checking.
No, it's absolutely fine. As long as you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what happened to you in this life, whether it's good or bad, if it's good, it is a glad tiding for you. If it's bad, it is a reward for you. Rasulullah in the Sahih Hadith said that عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. What a weird is the affair of the believer. What a weird is the affair of the believer. He said to him, why Rasulullah? Said, because if a calamity befall on him, he will be patient, and this is good for him. And if a good thing happened to him, he will be thankful and appreciative, and this is good for him as well.
So why is it good to be patient?
Why is it good to be patient? Yes, because through patience you get what you aspire for. Actually, as brother mentioned in the beginning of this episode, that we need patience in performing good actions and patience in remaining away from misdeeds and from sins. So if you are patient in these two things, and also patient in accepting what Allah decrees for you in life, because Allah decrees a good life for you or a hard life for you, then you have to be patient and accept that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and be sure that this is good for me, because Allah decrees what's good for you, and we do not know. Even if we are sick, if we are poor, if we are under occupation, if we suffer, if we are oppressed, we have to be patient and ask for Allah's help. This produces a good Muslim. Patience.
Very good. Now let me kind of qualify something that he said, that whether you have a good life or a hard life, you have to be patient. Somebody may not feel comforted by that. He may say, how can I accept that my life has been decreed to be difficult? That's hard for me. That's hard for my mentality and my mental health and thinking. What would we say to him?
What we say, first of all, Allah Ta'ala subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who decrees everything. Okay? And you are as a one of His creation, you should accept Allah's decree. He is the creator. First of all, you've been brought into this life without your choice. Allah Ta'ala brought you into this life without choice. And Allah Ta'ala is the one who's given you your life, He's given you provision, and He's given you all the bounties that you have in your life. So if Allah Ta'ala decreed that you will not have some bounties in this life, it is up to Him. He is the king of this life. And He has the kingdom of this life. So just submit to His decree
and accept His decree. Secondly, we have in the hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about us more than ourselves. And in the hadith, إِنَّ مِنْ عِبَادِ مَنْ لَا يُصْلِحُ إِلَى الْفَقْرِ. Some of my creation, nothing will make them alright except poverty. So I'll make them poor. And some of my servants, nothing will make them righteous except wealth. So I'll make them wealthy. So it's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to decree whatever He wants. And in the Quran, Allah ta'ala said, كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Allah ta'ala is up to Him to decree whatever He wants. Every day He has His own decree.
So there's a hadith that mentions, and I'm not sure if it's authentic or not, I'm not a scholar, but it's mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes every person's way easy for him. So that means even if his life is decreed to be more, what I would consider difficult, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given something in his character the capacity to be able to deal with that in his own way.
Exactly.
Is that accurate?
It's accurate as well, yeah. But what I would say always that whenever you feel that you are in difficulties or in calamities, remember it is good for you if you are patient. If you are impatient, that is bad for you, of course. It's like punishment for you. Okay.
Now, how do you know if it's a punishment? Because I've heard that it's a punishment based on your reaction.
Exactly.
Is that it?
Exactly. That's the answer. If you are patient in the calamities, during the calamities, then it is a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is actually a cause for you to elevate you in the hereafter. And that's why we see that most of the people who are under tribulation, or we see that the prophets basically are, most of them, they were under tribulations. And they were the most people who had calamities in their life. So you will be tested according to your iman.
Right.
So therefore you should be patient in this regard.
And you can see it as a good sign. If you're tested very hard, then this means that that's where your iman is.
Exactly.
You can take it as a good sign.
Exactly.
Is patience good for mental health, for your way of thinking?
Yes, of course, but let me just
Okay,
because brother reminded me of Sayyidina Umar's comment when he said, I was never afflicted with any trial, except that I thank Allah for 4 blessings related to this trial. First, that it was not related to my religion. Second, that it was not worse than it was not greater than it was. Third, that I was not kept from being pleased with it, because it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fourth is that I hope that Allah will reward me for this trial. And you can see how Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab received any misfortune, any calamity, how he extracted these 4 blessings.
And that actually kind of answers my question.
Yes.
That if you have that way of thinking,
yes,
it will be very good for your mental health.
Yes, for your mental health, for your psychology, for your peace of mind, to gain your peace of mind. But let me also highlight something. We should not be so patient that we would be lazy. As you mentioned that, okay, I worship Allah and that's it, I do my job. And no, we have to do our best. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. يعني fear Allah as much as you can. Do as much righteous deeds as you can. Worship Allah as much as you can. Perform your work, whatever kind of work you are doing in your life, as perfect as you can. So we should not mix patience with laziness.
Right. Well, that's a fine line, though, isn't it? Because in one sense, you can work too hard. In another sense, you cannot work hard enough. You can be being lazy, or you could be like a workaholic. And there's 2 extremes there.
Yeah.
So how do we follow the middle way? What's the middle way there?
What I would say the middle way is that to give everything is right, to give your work is right. And whenever you are engaged in anything, in any project, in any work, to give it is right. It's right. And Allah Ta'ala, in the same hadith, Allah Ta'ala loves for us whenever we engage in anything to perfect it. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ إِذَا عَمِلَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَمَلًا يُتْقِنَهُ. Whenever you do anything, perfect it. For example, you are doing this show, do it in the best manner. Likewise, when you do anything, give it its right. This Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him his right, worship him, always remember him, your children, your wife, and so on and so forth. Give everyone his right. And of course you will encounter difficulties in this life. You encounter calamities, and be patient. And prepare yourself for it.
So if someone is working so hard that he's missing prayers and not ever seeing his family and everything, this is a sign maybe he's went to an extreme. But on the same time, if he's just sitting around saying, I'll trust in Allah and this and that, and he doesn't ever go out and try to do anything, this is a sign that he's went to another extreme.
Very extreme. Yeah. It's totally misconception.
Right.
Wrong approach and deciding things. Being patient doesn't mean to be lazy and stay behind and hold yourself back and don't do anything. No, do your best and leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do your best and leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Very good. How can we have patience in modern times? I mean, there's a lot of attacks on Muslims in the media. Some governments, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, sometimes make things hard for Muslims. So how can we have patience? How should we show patience?
Actually, we have to have patience in such situations. You know, scholars even said that patience in times of ease is harder than patience in times of calamity and difficulty. Because in times of difficulty and times of hardship, you have no other choice except to be patient because you are weak. You can do nothing. But in times of ease, you are able to do many things. You have a lot of money, then you can spend them either way, in the good way or in bad way.
Right.
So it is more difficult to have patience in times of ease than in times of hardship. And when Muslims are attacked, especially Muslim minorities all over the world, or in the media, as you said, or as we know and as everybody knows, we should practice. We have nothing else except to be patient and show the model example of being patient in such situations. And our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was attacked, was harmed, was hurt, and he was patient. He never said a word of curse or cursed his enemies, or even he taught us not only to forgive, but also to do good to our aggressors. This is brother mentioned the verse وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. It's not easy. صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ, to be patient and to forgive. This is not easy. We have to endeavor to strive hard to do this.
You could almost say being patient takes patience.
Yes,
that's the way to put it, right?
Yes, and this is the correct attitude of a Muslim, is to be patient, to forgive, and to do good to our aggressors. But this should not be all the way. I mean, this should be done wisely.
Yeah, not just
do it with every aggressor. Yeah, someone come to attack me and take my land and kill my people, and then I say, I have to be patient, I forgive him, I do righteous deeds to him.
But I think, as you said, though, the response should be something that's wise, something that's, whatever my response would be, it should be something that's going to cause a retaliation, that's going to kill 500 people.
Look at the result. Look at the result of your reaction.
It has to be something that is wise.
Yes.
In this regard, I would like as well to add that let's always, whenever we see such things, let's think out of the box. Let's see the whole picture. And nothing in this universe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala in the Quran in many verses said that He has the kingship of this universe. أَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Don't you know that Allah ta'ala has the kingship of this universe, the heaven and the earth? Allah owns everything in this universe, every atom of it. And nothing can happen in this universe, in Allah's kingship, unless if Allah ta'ala permits it. So nothing will happen unless Allah ta'ala allowed it. So whatever is happening here, in this land, whether it's oppression to the Muslims, or affliction, and so on and so forth, it is by Allah's permission. Allah ta'ala in the Quran said,
وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ مَا فَعَلُوا. If Allah Ta'ala intends, they won't be able to do it. It's by Allah's permission. And look at the whole picture. Everything in this universe is submitting, surrendering, worshipping, and humiliating himself to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Everything apart from the evildoers of the mankind and the jinnkind. They are the rebellious, but the rest are worshipping Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So look at the whole picture first. So you are with them, with the whole universe, worshipping Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran said, let me finish with this. تسبح له السماوات السبع والأرض ومن فيهن وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده. Everything in the heaven and the earth worships Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, glorifies Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, submits to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, but you cannot understand their glorification and their praise. إنه كان حليما غفورا. He was the oft forgiven and the clement.
Very good. Now we have about a minute left, maybe even a little less than that, but I have to get this question out there.
Okay.
Are we allowed to be upset? I mean, can we be upset and patient at the same time? And can we make our worries known to somebody else? Like if we're worried about something, is it considered impatient or dissatisfied with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree if I mention what I'm worried about to somebody? If I tell him, I'm not sure where my money for rent is going to come from next month, I'm concerned about that. Can you still be patient and do that?
Would you like to answer? Or?
No, I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us to vent out sometimes. لا يحب الله سبحانه وتعالى says لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء من القول إلا من ظلم. So in this ayah, Allah does not like to say bad things loudly, except when you are oppressed, as a means, as a way of rebelling such an oppression from you. So you are allowed to vent out your anger, your bad situation, to express that I have some worries, and your brother, you have a right on your brother to listen to you and try to help you with everything he can, at least making dua for you, or having a viewpoint or an opinion which didn't come to your mind. Actually, yes, we are allowed to a certain extent, not always.
Right.
Everything happens that you
complain.
If you complain,
back to the issue of going to extremes. And
I mean,
right?
To a certain extent. I mean,
okay.
Let's say if someone oppressed you,
yeah,
of course you have the right to, for example, to say so and so oppressed me, just to complain about his oppression. But if there is an affliction by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, a calamity that befall upon you, then you should be patient without any complaint. And you should practice patience there, of course.
But what about if you're concerned or you want some advice from somebody? Even if it's, a calamity has befallen you, it seems to me that it's very natural to seek advice from your brother or your sister in Islam.
It's fine to seek advice, of course, but not to show resentments, not to show objection, and not to show that you are unhappy with it. Okay. Not unhappy. Let me just say that you are objecting it, basically.
Right, because it wouldn't be.
You'd be unhappy, of course. But
it wouldn't be a calamity if you were happy about it, right? And we couldn't even call it that.
No.
So you will feel something negative, but as long as you, I think the best way to sum it up is I heard that there's a quote of Ali ibn Abu Talib, and again I'm not a scholar, but I heard that he said that he was asked what was patience, and he said patience is trusting Allah. Trusting,
very, very good definition, subhanAllah.
Trusting that whatever's happened to you is some good is in it.
Yes, he said also, Sayyidina Ali, Imam Ali said, patience to religion is like a head to a body. And there is no faith for the one who has no patience.
I think we will end this segment with that because that's very wise. So we're going to go to a quick break and we'll be right back, inshallah. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Let's Talk.
Amazing stories. In this program, we get to know about people of the past whose stories were mentioned in the Islamic tradition and related by the Prophet, peace be upon him.
That verily us, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we tell you about the best of the stories. We tell you about the best of the stories. When we narrate a story, when we read a story, when we try to benefit from a story, what we are trying to do in reality is to go back through the steps, through the different parts and sections of this story until the story is actually completed, and that we can take the actual benefit directly from the story.
Sheikh Lutfi will narrate these stories in his program Amazing Stories.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered one of the lands to come closer, the destination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered one whole city to come closer, to move closer to this dead person.
Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to today's episode of Let's Talk. Today we're discussing the issue of patience, and I think in this segment we're going to take it to our studio audience, inshallah, and see if they have any questions for either one of our guests.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Can you give us an example of the patience in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
تفضل إن شاء الله. تفضل لك.
Actually, patience was the quality and the attribute of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why they were able to establish the Islamic nation. They performed a miracle through in just a short time. It was about 8 years they established the some writers call it Islamic empire, but this is wrong, of course. It is the Islamic community, Islamic Ummah. They established the Islamic Ummah, which stretched far away and occupied many areas of the land in very short time, because they were patient. They put the Quranic teachings in practice. When you are patient, you achieve more than when you are impatient. Let us take an example from the Quran concerning the matter of jihad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها النبي حرض المؤمنين على القتال إن يكن منكم 20 صابرون يغلبوا 200 وإن يكن منكم 100 يغلبوا 1000 من الذين كفروا بأنهم قوم لا يفقهون الآن خفف الله عنكم وعلم أن فيكم ضعفا فإن يكن منكم 100 صابرة يغلبوا 200 وإن يكن منكم 1000 يغلبوا 2000 بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the Prophet, urge the believers to fight. If there is of you 20 steadfast patient, they will overcome 200. And if there is 100 of you, they will overcome 1,000 of those who disbelieve. This is because they are people, the disbelievers are people without understanding. Now Allah has known that there is weakness in you, and then He has lightened the task for you. If there is فإن يكن منكم 100, if there is 100, they will overcome 200, and if there is 1,000, they will overcome 2,000 with the leave of Allah, and Allah is with those who are patient. So through patience that they achieved miracles, not only in battles but in everything in their life. And if we come back to these teachings and practice and be patient in our life, not only in the battlefield but in all walks of life, whatever work you are doing, you need to be patient, and then you will achieve more than others through patience.
Very good, very good. That's a very good answer. We don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to mention this. We know Hajj season is coming up. Are there any elements of Hajj that require us to be patient? Does Hajj teach us patience at all?
It does. It does teach patience. SubhanAllah.
And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Sahih Hadith said that, of course, in the Hajj, first of all, you will encounter some hardship and some difficulty. But any hardship or harm that you encounter, Allah Ta'ala will reward you. In the Sahih Hadith, ما أصاب المسلم من هم ولا غم ولا أذى, any harm that befall upon the believer, be it the pricking of the thorn, unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cause his sins to fall away as the tree when it sheds its leaves. So when you are patient, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, so Hajj is a good time then to gain some barakat for being patient.
And to have your sins forgiven.
For sure you're going to face some difficulties and so on. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that anyone who's going on Hajj, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make him patient and give him the full reward, inshallah. Well, that's unfortunately all the time we have for today's episode, and I think it's been a good one. I could stay and talk all night, but I guess we're getting tired and hungry and have families that miss us. So we will leave you with that, inshallah. Until next time, I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, wishing you peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the